Wow. And we can't hear the music.
You can't hear the music? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is not going well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the All In Podcast. I am Ryan the Rock. This is Bad B Bryce. And we did, while Bryce is currently trying to get the intro music to work, I am, gonna attempt an introduction to the show because we were very excited. My wonderful brother Kevin has put together a little bit of intro music for us. This is the first version, and it will be updated by the end of next week. And hopefully, we'll have a better system of how to play the introduction music by next week.
Yeah, that was a little sloppy, guys, but welcome to the podcast.
Exactly. We're a small dollar organization. We're making a lot happen with very little, so bear with us.
We do. So we have a nice guest today. We'd love to bring in a few minutes, but before we do, we want to talk about the Mike McDonald prop bet, and then we're also going to talk about table selection.
Yeah. I have no knowledge of this Mike McDonald prop bet. Please
really
leave the deets. I haven't heard anything about this.
So basically, he made a $200,000 prop bet with someone that he had to get 90 out of 100 free throws in a consecutive attempt. So he had a year to do it, and I think this is only about month 3, and about a week and a half ago, he got 89. So it was looking pretty promising. And he had it on like Twitch or whatever, and like people could watch. And he has a completely atrocious form that you guys can go. He's been tweeting about it literally every single day. But anyways, so today he finally got 90. But the issue with it is that it was broken up. So he went to the gym and he didn't have like the gym reserved. So he did like 50 free throws and was on track to get it. And then he left. But based on the definition of the prop bet, you were allowed to do that. But some people were like, oh no, that doesn't count. Like it says like consecutive attempt. But he didn't like, it was still one attempt. And obviously you have to trust him to a certain extent that he didn't like record when it wasn't happening. But I'm sure the guy he made the bet with, if you're making a $200,000 prop bet, it's probably with a buddy. I would not scam you out of $200,000 if we made a prop bet. You know what I mean? So
especially for something as benign as throwing free throws. Also, exactly. Bryce, just a heads up. There's a little bit of an echo. I can hear myself.
A little bit of an echo. Interesting.
Yep. Just a heads up.
Let me make sure that it is on the right audio system.
Right, but I mean, while you're making sure it's on the right audio system, interesting. I mean, as long as like I said, it's not like this is like anything crazy. Yeah, I have no echo now. Sure. This is nothing crazy. I mean, like obviously the amount of money is insane, but if this is like two rich friends having a good time, like it is what it is, as long as no one's throwing a hissy fit about him doing it in 2 different places. I agree with you. One attempt.
What are your feelings on prop bets? Because a lot of guys in the high stakes poker world just love to make them. I mean, they're gamblers. Yeah. A lot of times they go on the golf course and make these huge bets. Do you see yourself making these sort of bets when you're older?
No. But we really need to bring back Antonio Esfandiari and Phil Locke had a television show for very short period of time.
It was one season, just
all
bets.
About prop bets. Yes.
Have you seen it?
I think it was called Bet Me or something.
Yeah.
Or something. I can't remember what the name of the show is. That's really upsetting to me. And if anyone in the comment section knows, I really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I watched the full pilot of the show, and I was like, this is the stupidest but the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
I
wish I'd seen an episode. I very much like both of them. Antonio Esfandiari is an amazing guy. So Phil Ivey actually on the golf course used to be atrocious at golf, and he got coached by Tiger Woods and then stole everyone's money.
Wow, I mean, like so that's pretty classic Phil Ivey there. That's pretty funny.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely gained his edge. But the other topic we wanted to suggest is just table selection. So in most casinos, you normally just can't get up and leave for any given reason. But, I mean, if you're playing bigger games, like if you're playing the 5-10 or bigger games, you can definitely scope it out before you go to swipe your card or whatnot. Obviously, I'm not much of a 5-10 player. I mainly just grind 2-5. So I don't have too much experience with that. But, I mean, of my buddies who talk about it, I mean, game selection is huge. Like my friend Kylo, who I told you about, is in Vegas right now, and he was playing 50-100 in Bobby's room, and he said 4 or 5 of the guys on the 6-max table were wrecks, and he's like, there's just so much money to be made. So I don't know if he wants me sharing this, but I don't think he watches. So he went on like a 20K downswing and got out of it completely just by playing these massive games. I can't imagine sitting in Bobby's room. Playing 50-100 any short amount of time. I
Any
don't know.
capacity of my
That's
life.
crazy, man. But
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would say, I mean, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think that the higher you go in stakes, the more that table selection matters.
yeah,
At
for sure.
1-2, I mean, like, I
I
don't know what
disagree to an
casino I've
extent.
ever.
I
Well,
think
that's the thing is, I'm trying to say, like, to my discretion is that like 1-2's player pool is just in general bad enough that like unless you look at a table and you see like America's card room stickers on half the hats, you're probably pretty safe to sit at just about any 1-2 table if you're a knowledgeable player.
totally
But
depends.
survive,
If
I
it,
think
and it
it's
also
really,
depends on the casino. Like there's a
I
Hollywood
agree.
casino in West Virginia. I don't know if people have heard of it, where it's literally just old man coffee player types, like who will limp aces, limp ace king. I've seen people just do the most ridiculous shit there. But if you go to an MGM game, it literally does not matter what table you're at. They're open raising to 15 or 20 in a 1-3 game. It's an amazing game. But on the topic of table selection, I think online you can definitely
You
be
can do
more
so
selective.
much.
And
Oh,
while some
absolutely.
games have like a timer where you have to sit like an hour or something, like you can scope those games out. You can watch those games. You can
Right.
have friends get you into certain games, especially with nowadays there's so many agent run apps where you can just get into a game through word of
Mhm.
mouth through friends, and these poker bros or like PP Poker or apps like that
Yep.
are just so much softer than if you're playing on a World Series of Poker app where it's only New Jersey or Nevada. Like all those guys are people who like care about poker. Like it's much tougher of a player
Yes.
pool, whereas on Poker Bros you can just play all these whales from every single country, every single
Right.
state.
Right.
There's some underage guys on there, like all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
there's lots of craziness.
Yeah, so I think table selection online is both easier and more important because online also is more difficult. A 1-2 game online is significantly harder than live. But
Unless you get a really soft group of people. Then
yeah,
it's a
we've
great
got
time.
some
If you can
action
find a
soft
soft
games.
1-2 game online, you're in a great place.
Oh, for sure.
That's hard.
Yeah, but anyways, would you like to introduce our guest
No.
today, or is it up
Uh-uh.
to me? It's up to me.
This guy beat me in not made me second place in a tournament. I want to introduce him. Bryce, you do it.
Yeah, so we're actually in a club together, and this is our first back-to-back winner of our
Back-to-back.
Sunday deep stack. He's still in college. He's a 21-year-old crusher, just moving up the micro stakes. Please welcome Cole Privateer to the stream. How you doing, Cole?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here. It feels good to be 21 too. Just
Yeah.
For
feels
sure.
good.
Yeah, finally legally able to gamble. How's it
I know,
feel?
just like that. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But-
So how'd you
Yeah,
get
well-
started in the poker world, Cole?
Basically, somebody was playing like a $20 game, and I lost $20, and then I bought back again. I lost another $20, and I was like, "All right, fuck this! Like these guys aren't smart, And I just lost $40. So this was like in March at the beginning of quarantine. So then I started
you literally started playing poker like that soon ago?
At the beginning of quarantine?
What?
Yeah, I mean, like I
That's
played
nuts.
like once, twice a year with friends and stuff before then. But like I started playing like seriously, like I did as like a summer job this summer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
because
I read
remember
like 6
talking
books
to you.
and started just,
Really?
There
That's
we go.
awesome.
There's an interesting follow-up.
What books did you?
Which books did
I read the first one I read was David Sklansky. I
Okay.
read Elements of Poker, Psychology of Poker.
Yeah.
I read Negrano's book recently. 52 Tips I think that was actually the first one because it was the easiest. But 2 Sklanskys and Negrano, I don't know. They're in a theory of poker.
Have you dabbled into the old school super system?
I followed a different track.
I don't know what
started
the old
with
school. Oh,
yeah.
the Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson.
Yeah.
No, I've not. I've heard of that. I've not read that though. But I feel
It
like it
can
might
be
be a little outdated. I don't know.
It
If
has
that was,
100%.
historical significance, but yes, the advice is a little bit out of date as compared to modern standards.
He literally just says be
it's
aggressive.
It's like the Bible in a sense. You just can't take it literally,
Exactly.
but like you get the
Exactly.
general ideas.
100%.
Right. There are a lot of
Check it out.
things in the super system that hold to today, and there are a lot of things that do not. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of good Doyle gems in there.
So yeah, it sounds like you have a huge edge on your buddies you're playing against. So it sounds like you've recently made that transition online. What makes you want to play the tournaments more so than the cash games?
Yeah.
I kind of think I'm a better tournament player, at least especially deep stack. because like early on when I can, kind of play the small ball style and like raise a lot and kind of be the aggressor, but then like deep, like late in these tournaments when you're playing like 10 big blinds, like I really don't like playing where you have to shove and you can't play like 6-7 suited and stuff like that. You have to play only Broadway cards essentially, or you're gonna like raise with 8-7, someone goes all in because they're priced, and then you're just gotta fold it. It's just annoying as hell. But like, I mean, in general, I like cash games too, but like I don't like rake. Obviously, who likes rake? But like
Rake's
I don't
tough.
like rake on cash games.
Daniel Negreanu likes rake.
More rake is better.
I don't know what's wrong with him now.
Have you been watching his videos of just him going crazy? Like, I had so much respect for him, and he was one of my favorite players to watch. He just, like, I don't know if it's his diet or what's going on. Like, he's just...
It's the way.
Like, I seriously think it might be. Because he's just so temperamental. It's nuts.
Someone came loose.
He's turning into Helmuth, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe
worse. I think Helmuth, from what I've heard, Helmuth off the tables is completely sane.
Yeah.
Like I get the sense that Negreanu, like the littlest thing will go wrong in his life and he'll just freak out. Like I think he's just like on edge right now. I don't know.
That's that quarantine.
I think so. I mean, I've always thought he's a little bit off. He's a little too like put together and cheery and stuff like that. He's psychopath, maybe. Hey, wait, I like you too, Ethan Myers.
Yeah, maybe. But I want to interject here. So I would also ask over the course of, so obviously you're kind of starting with a smaller role, I would assume, if you're playing from a tournament perspective, and you've been doing really well. Like you said, you're back-to-back winner. Now that you're putting some success into the tournaments, are you going to invest into maybe thinking about moving into cash, especially as you start moving into the later years of college and like income? Or are you just thinking, tournaments are fun, I'm going to play them once a weekend, and that's what I want to do?
Well, I mean, I started only playing cash games, and I was playing every day this summer basically, but I don't like them as much, but then there was 3 weeks in July where I was maybe playing 2 tournaments a day, just 2 different ones, like a freeze out in the morning and one at night. But like in general, I mean, I like cash games too, but just something about a tournament deep stacked when you can, just kind of make a deep run, then you're in the money. You can you can play a little bit looser with your chips, because like whether or not you lose a little bit, it's not, it's not real money at the time. So you can take a couple chances and not, just basically sit tight for 2 hours and wait for jacks up before you play.
There's real pain in cash games. There's some real pain.
I definitely prefer cash games because, like you said, you can play the hands like 6-7 suited, and I like just absolutely owning people's souls with shit hands. And in tournaments, I feel like one of the things that's been to all of our benefits is I feel like it's just so soft. I feel like the cash games are tougher partially because I think in these tournaments, people aren't conceptualizing their stacks in terms of big blinds. And literally in the first level, like 160 big blinds deep, people are getting it in. Like that does not happen. That just doesn't happen. Yeah. Like you can just tighten up and just run over people. It's nuts. And I agree with you. Like when it becomes a shove stack, it's not nearly as fun. And obviously when you're playing these smaller buy-in tournaments, like if we're playing a live tournament, even some of the bigger tournaments, like there's $1,000 turbo tournaments, it's not as fun. But whereas when you go to the main event and you're just thousands of big blinds deep and it's a week tournament, like that's so sick. And I'm sure like we all would just love playing that deep stack of a tournament.
And that's the ideal, like, tons of room to maneuver and not have to worry about, busting on one shove basically.
And you can make some bluffs. It's fun to bluff.
I mean, Bryce and I talked about it before, like the 3 phases of our tournaments in this club, just because of the formatting. And like at this point, I kind of see it as like a day 1, day 2, where because after the add-on period, like I was talking about this with Bryce about max late regging the deep stack. Yeah. Because if you do max late reg, you still start with like 60 big blinds.
It's actually I don't know if the tournament I don't know if the tournament format was messed up last week, but I think it was only 30 big blinds with the add-on. Okay. So, but if you come in with 60, that's plenty of room to maneuver.
That's a lot.
But 30 obviously is significantly less. You lose a big pot.
You only have an hour to win 3 buy-ins. Like I don't know if I'm aggressive enough to win 3 buy-ins in an hour to get myself, or to at least break even and then add on to this DK. So
Yeah.
I can at least pull that off.
The one where I sucked out on you at the end, with the one that you should have had me.
We should go over that hand just briefly. No, it doesn't have to be exactly.
But
So
Ryan, that was the one time where I was thinking about not getting the add-on because I was like sitting at 140K or something like that by the time the registration ended.
It was definitely a plus EV add-on though. Like it's not worth risking it. You know what I mean?
It's not worth it. But can I set it up? I'll set it up. I remember the hand. Yeah, so we're now heads up in the deep stack. It's like 3.5 hours into this tournament. We've been battling it out. We got to the last 4. Then you basically knocked out the other 2. And we started with like a 6-1. I was at a 6-1 chip disadvantage. And I got like a double up. And we were basically at a point where he had a 3-1 chip lead. And this was basically going to make it even. So I picked up kings. I raised. You flatted from the big blinds. The flop came nothing. Everything was low. It was like 7-6 deuce or something like that. And you checked. I bet. You check raised, and then or you check raised shoved. And I thought about folding. The problem with the kings on that flop.
Wait. So what was the flop? If you haven't mentioned it, what is it?
Flop had. It was like 7-6 deuce with a heart. A heart. Sorry, with 2 hearts. That's important.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, with 2 hearts. And so he shoves, I tank, I call.
What does he have here? 7-6 or deuces sometimes, or a draw, or just nothing. Yeah. I
don't know if I had
7-6s or deuces. Then
he had 10-8 offsuit. He had 10-8 offsuit with 1 heart. But anyways, I don't hate the play because it does smash your range, and unless he has an overpair, you should have him beat.
Yeah, I was thinking like there's no way he hit this, and I mean he's gonna c-bet that every time, so I can get that extra bet out of him by making him put it in and then shove him, and he's gonna also, without really knowing my image, to probably think that I'm not gonna check, raise, shove all in. Like
he looks so strong. Yeah, he hesitated. He tanked.
No, I know you were thinking about it so long, and I was like, I think I'm good with this.
Because if he has a draw, you were short enough to, if he had a heart draw, he snaps. You know what I mean? Like you were in horrible shape if he had anything. But long story short, he goes runner hearts and busts the kings. It was brutal.
It was sick.
But it's going to be even. It was quite the battle after that. It was like a 40 big blind deep between the two of us too. So
it was
about to be 20.
It wasn't shallow. Yeah.
So have you watched much poker? Like, do you watch World Series of Poker? Do you watch Live at the Bike? Do you absorb much poker content outside of the books you've been reading?
My friend Mike actually just told me about Live at the Bike the other day. But no, I watch a lot of tournaments, like a lot of EPT events, and I've been watching a lot of the big game cash games. Have been entertaining.
Those are so fun.
Good ones.
Yeah, but I've watched a lot of like the main event tournaments, and some of the silly ones like Shark Cage is always funny.
Yeah. I don't like Shark Cage. I don't know why, but
it's just funny as heck, you know. But I've watched a lot of them.
Sorry to cut you off. Who was your favorite poker player, and who do you think you model yourself after the most?
Maria Lampropoulos, there was one tournament where she just, like, the way she was playing and the way she was playing around the bubble too, just playing super aggro and just raising and just, just putting the pressure on weak, just like sharks just smelling blood in the water and just attacking. And just, just building like a huge chip stack before the bubble burst. But so I really like her. I like Mike McDonald's energy a lot, but it might just be because we're both young blonde white guys that I'm like, yeah, that guy, I can, I like to follow that. But overall it's changed around a little bit, Negreanu's never been it though. It's never been Negreanu.
That's fair. You've also just recently come into the poker world. So at his peak, he was a very iconic man. But those are great choices. Biggest Bluff is an amazing book. While I'm not a fan of Eric Seidel, it's awesome to see her be mentored. So she basically majored in psychology, if the listeners don't know, and came to Eric Seidel with zero poker knowledge and ended up she played a charity event and was being so scared. And then you just see her trajectory, and just now she plays the biggest buy-ins like EPT, main event, all that good stuff. And it's awesome just to read about her and see her trajectory. But yeah, Mike McDonald, haven't heard that one, But definitely, I like him. He's very humble. A lot of poker players, I think, are incredibly cocky, and some are just assholes. I feel like he's not one of them. So yeah, it's a good choice.
He seems like a nice guy, but
For sure.
You know,
do you have any last questions, Ryan, before we hop into the hand with Cole?
Hop into his hand. It's very interesting.
All right, let's do it. Alrighty.
Cole, so I gotta ask you while he's pulling up this hand, and don't even push play yet. We're a little curious about backstory because all I got was a screenshot showing me what the action was in the hand here. Can you tell us? We're in a tournament here, and I get blinds are 50, 100, but take us from there.
This is a cash game, actually.
Oh,
this is the hand I'm thinking about.
I think that's $29 if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
I think that's
it's in as
no. That's two. I think that's 271.
Okay.
Okay. So you're 200.
We were playing deep. If this is the I'm thinking about, I need to check in the thing
because you have about 30K in chips. So is this $300 then?
Probably.
Is this $50 a dollar, 300 deep? Because that would make sense too.
Yeah, $50.
Okay.
300
okay.
deep.
Yeah. Okay.
That sounds right.
So that's some good backstory. So are these just college buddies, home friends, or who are you playing against?
This is basically there's a group chat in like College Park of just a bunch of people who play poker, and there's just cash games on this website, Poker Now, just Venmo people, honor system. My friend Mike added me to it. So these are just like random, people that I don't know. I mean, like out of college, just whoever they are.
Is this the game I trolled in?
Maybe 3 a.m.
Oh, it's amazing. Okay.
No,
anyways,
Bryce hopped in one of my games, like a $20 game, and just made everyone so mad. Funniest thing in the world.
I made like 9 buy-ins and was just trolling the whole time. It was amazing.
Okay.
So I've never seen them get so heated. Like I didn't know how.
All right, we got suited connector in the small blind. We got a limp raised at 500. Flat call. And we decide to call standard. I think
interesting. Yeah, I think that's fine too, because this is one of the discussions that we like to have is that from the small blind, you should have a very polarized raising range. So you should be raising with the best of your value hands and some of your junky hands. And in this position where
he didn't raise, right? Big boy raised, right? Okay, gotcha.
This is a linear portion of his range, not a polar portion of his range. That's what I'm saying, is that 10-9 suited is a great candidate to flatten small blind because you're looking great post-flop, even multi-ways. So perfectly fine with the play here.
Yeah, and 500 is a pretty big raise, so I wouldn't look to raise huge here. All right, let's.
The under the gun limper folds, which is unique, but we're going 4 ways to the flop.
Not bad. So what are you thinking when you flop top 2 here?
Top 2 4 ways. Like, what do you do here?
He checks. What do you mean?
What do you do? Cole, what do you do?
Can you hear us all right, Cole?
Oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet out. I didn't know you were talking to me. My bad. I bet out. I thought you were talking hypothetically. Like,
no, you're good.
No, I bet out.
You lead out. Okay. So why are you leading out into 4 people here? Do you just, do you think no one's going to have Queen Jack? What are you doing? What's your plan here?
I bet out because I wanted to protect off like tons of draws here. I'm looking at it like, 4 people are calling. I mean, I'm worried that somebody has Jack Queen, but like, you can't play like that. You can't play assuming people flop straights on you. But really, I know there's so many cards going forward, whether it's diamonds, whether or not it's, jacks, queens, whatever it is that completes a straight or a flush, that I need to protect the hand while I think I'm ahead. I mean, really, unless someone flopped a straight or a set. But again, sometimes, I just got to play in the sense of, I don't believe that they have it. Like, I can't.
I think Bryce and I are going to say exactly the same thing, and I'm going to let Bryce say it first.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to their betting tendencies. Like, so Big Boy, when he would raise, would he tend to c-bet is my first question?
Joel is the most full of shit player in like the whole thing. Like
that makes me want you to check more though. If he's full of shit, if you bet out into him, into 3 other people, if he has just nothing, if he has ace 4, he's probably gonna fold. Maybe he's a donkey and is gonna call with ace high, But I think that you could extract value by checking. And I think if you get called here, I think a lot of hands that will call will be betting into you. If someone has a decent draw here, whether it be a jack, open ender, or a diamond draw or something of that nature, I expect in position them to bet out against you. And I would actually look to probably check raise this flop.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's what you were probably going to say, Ryan. But yeah, betting, especially half pot, that's not even that much protection. They can call here with just a wide range of hands that you give them an amazing price.
That's true.
So I prefer more. Yeah, all you, Ryan.
Here's what I'm saying is that Bryce makes a lot of sense here because you have to think about how much value you're getting here. If you bet half pot here, what odds are you giving them to call? You're giving them almost direct odds to call any straight draw or flush draw that they have if they have 9 or 8 outs respectively. If you check here, let them bet into you and hit them with the old check rizzle, not only do they have chips in the pot, but they've already invested chips on this flop and are incentivized to continue while you're ahead, and now you're in control and you're in the driver's seat. So when the turn comes blank, you can barrel again for 2/3 pot and put them in a position where they're going to have to call, hope they hit, and when they don't, you've gotten most of the value you wanted to get regardless. That's the point.
I agree
And
for sure.
if there's a hand like King Queen of Hearts, like they can float you here for half pot, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Raise 5K. Whoa. Okay, so that's a big
raise on this board. So you bet half pot and he 5x's you.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, what the hell are you thinking?
Well, the backstory here was that basically, again, this was like 3 and 4 hours into a cash game. I'd been basically sitting tight, folding, and this situation has happened a fair amount of times where I'd like donk lead, and then this guy would like massive re-raise, and I would fold. So I'm thinking that's part of the reasoning of doing it again, that I'm thinking this guy's gonna raise me because he plays like, I mean, I don't know what his raise like percent was, but like, it was crazy. I mean, the dude was just like an absolute maniac. So when he goes ×5, and he's been, I mean, his VPIP was like at least 70 or something like that. I mean, it was like out of, it was beyond of a loose cannon. Like it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So he goes ×5. I'm thinking he doesn't have a set, because when is a set raising like that big, unless he's so worried I have a straight draw or something. But I mean, I put him on like having either ace-10 and just being an idiot, or like, you know, a couple killer draws. So I mean, that's what was going through my mind, but I definitely was just hoping he didn't have a straight.
Yeah, so I actually think this is
process.
I don't either. So
you go first.
Yeah, so this actually isn't directly related to the hand, so your comment might make more sense. But out of all the people I've played, at least in our club, which has like 106 people in it, the only people I see donk lead consistently are you and Anonyfish. And I think it's so interesting because he typically does it for value. I mean, this specific interest is for value. But you donk lead with nothing, with air, and I think it's very interesting. Where did you develop that strategy? When do you try to implement it? Yeah, I guess I just want to hear about your thoughts surrounding donk leading.
Honestly, part of it was when I started really doing it was playing against you, when you said when I like donk led one time out, and you were like we were playing heads up or something, and you folded, and you were like, yeah, what a donk, like, you know, like you're not gonna get any value. And I was like, people are gonna think every time I'm, you know, just leading out like that I have it. But that's why I started just donk lead bluffing, because people are, you know, they're just assuming I'm a fish who caught a pair, and if they have nothing, or even they're like, it's not worth it. So, you know, I think you get a fair amount of value. I mean, it's usually more of a semi bluff when I do it, because usually I have some equity if they're hoping they float and don't raise. But like, I have the fold equity and the semi bluff equity, so I mean, that's my mindset there. And it's fun to make Bryce look stupid when I show him the bluff after he calls me a dog.
I love it. I literally am like, what the hell is this man doing? I love it though. Yeah, as long as you polarize it, I'm okay with doing it sometimes, and it makes a lot more sense when it's a hand heads up. When you're playing four-handed, I would not try to bluff donk lead often at all. But I mean, your thought process makes sense, and I think it's definitely an interesting strategy.
That's a really
but anyways, strategy. Back to the hand, Ryan. Whatever comment you want, go for it.
Yeah, so now that we're here, I mean, I know what your next action is, but I get your thought process pre-flop, that because he didn't re-raise after what was, I mean, if he had 9s, 10s, or 8s, and being a wild player that he is, I'd expect him to put more chips in the pot pre-flop with those hands. So it's pretty unlikely you're against a set. Queen Jack off and like 7-6, all of the suited and off-suited connectors are probably going to be your biggest culprits here. But, you know, it's a very small portion of his range, like you said. And, you know, we block all the sets here. And if he's a maniac, he might be willing to get money in the pot with just a draw. So now, what are you going to do here, Cole, as it comes back around to you?
I re-raise him times 3.
What?
I re-raise him times 3.
Because Bryce,
the dude,
I haven't looked at. I hadn't looked at the hand. I did like a month ago when we
dude's full
looked
of
at
shit.
it.
Dude is full of shit. I don't believe him. And like,
you can't fold once you re-raise. You have top 2. You're getting it in all the time.
Right.
Like 100%.
No, I know. I wanted him to shove on me. I wanted him to re-shove. Like, that's because I was pretty confident I was ahead here. I was, you know, so I'm thinking, you know, I mean, again, it's risky because there's stuff he could have had, but I just, for all the reasons, like watching him and, you know, what led up to this, just, I didn't think he had it. So I was kind of wanting him to get all this money, and I was waiting 4 hours to stack this guy, basically. And I thought, like, this is the opportunity. This
isn't as donkey as a move as I thought it was based on your description of him.
Right.
I mean, he should not be getting in his hand, especially like his raise sizing just didn't make sense. He should have just ripped it. Like, I don't know why he raised 27K. Like, you're never folding. But anyways, yeah, top 2, you just can never fold here ever.
That was all in, Bryce.
No, he raised to 27, then Cole jammed, and then he called this jam. I mean, he was essentially all in anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But let's hold. Let's see what happens. And brick, and 9-10 is good for
oh man,
pretty big pot.
$555 pot, dude. That's awesome.
That's my biggest cash game pot to date, and I don't know if it was really great play.
Dude,
it was
that's
definitely
so crazy.
a bit of luck.
My third biggest.
Based.
That's so
I was there. Oh wait, no, I wasn't. Based on your description of him, I don't actually love the re-raise on the flop once he pops to 15K, because if he is bluffing or semi-bluffing, I think he gets it in on the turn 100% all the time anyways, and you let him hang himself when he has literally no equity. So if he had a hand like ace-10, I think he jams turn 100% of the time, and he's damn near dead there. Whereas if he has a diamond draw, and if it bricks turn, the money was going in probably anyways. Though I don't know if you can get away from that on turn. But if he has a worse of a hand than he does, I think he just hangs himself on every single turn once he raises you, if he's bluffing. And if he has a good hand, the money's going in anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you won this hand. Obviously, it was very player dependent. I'm sure you've played a decent amount of hands with this guy. So, yeah, I mean, nice hand. There's some adjustments I would potentially make, but you owned his soul. So
because that's one of those things too. Because I agree. I think that going for that big 3-bet there on the flop is a little greedy, given that you had ranged him to a hand similar to this, and even though he had like even a little bit more equity than we thought he had, because he had open ender plus the flush draw. I think that doing gut shot. No, he's open ended. It's Jack.
Oh, fuck. I didn't see that. Oh, he has way more equity than I thought he had.
He's a lot
I
of
didn't even
equity.
see the Jack. I thought he had Queen 6 of diamonds.
Right. He's very live.
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't.
It's like, this is why we lean a little bit more towards the check raise flop and then lead turn. And you basically are just going to, the same outcome would be achieved here without you being put in a weird position. You know what I'm saying? Where like you're more in control of what's happening.
It's kind of,
that's why I like that approach.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those raises where you're just like, I want to see where I'm at. I just want the money to go in. I think I'm ahead. And you don't want to be betting just to like see where you're at. You know what I mean?
Like some really good players are going to get away there. Like Bryce and I don't know if I'm going to fold Jack 6.
I'm not folding Jack 6 of diamonds. Once I put that much money in, absolutely not.
You can't get away. Like no one can get away. But like you are going to run into players who are going to be good enough to get away from hands. Kind of similar, maybe Jack 6 offsuit with a diamond.
I mean, I don't think we're playing Jack 6 of diamonds in the big blind for 5x pre-flop. But
fair.
You know, it happens. But yeah, fair enough. So we only pulled one of your hands for today, Cole, but we very much enjoyed having you on. There's some viewers who loved your energy, but Good luck winning some more tourneys, and look forward to grinding against you, buddy.
Definitely. Thank you guys for having me on. Good time.
No problem. All right,
Thanks,
you
man.
take care, Cole.
Good
See
to
you guys.
See you, man.
See you later.
Alrighty, so we've got 3 more hands for you guys. This next one is Ryan's hand. Ryan, as I pull it up, would you like to describe the hand a little bit?
Yeah, so this is a club. This is the other club I'm playing in recently, so I don't have to get destroyed by Bryce all the time. This is 1-2, 7-handed, and we are about 70 hands into the session when this hand occurs. So I am here on the button with good old-fashioned ace-king of hearts, and we will see the action as it proceeds. So Bobo is going to limp in. We get a limp from a small stack, and we get a raise. So middle position limper, low jack limp, or sorry, high jack limp, cut off, raises to 8. This is Ufish, who is a unique and special player.
I have heard about Ufish from many people.
Right. He's not super learned, but he has very deep pockets. So he's one of those people that's just kind of like wild, and he's great for the game because he doesn't really know where he's at all the time. And he's going to put a lot of money in the pot with hands when he's really far behind. And so, yeah, it's an interesting spot. So when he goes to 8 here, we know that he's not a very thinking player because there's 2 limps in front of him and he goes to 8 in the cutoff. I'm sitting here on the button with ace-king, and this is obviously a very, very clear value raise because from the button, I mean, obviously it's ace-king anyway, but it's going to be a very wide range that we're opening here from the button in this configuration. So we go big with it. I go to 28 here. Reason being, I know Tracy is I'm very happy to get the money in with a limper like Tracy. I'm fine with that, with ace-king. And number 2, I think the limpers are pretty likely to fold, and then I'm heads up in position against a fish.
I don't actually think that's that huge of a raise. I would go at least that big, to be frankly honest. When there's that many limpers and you're against a guy who, from what I've heard, is a giant fish, $1,000 effective, I don't see him folding any hand. I see him calling the Jack 8 suited here. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, for like $40.
I think 30 to 35 is fine. 28's okay, but describing it as a huge raise, I think, is almost a little unfair due to the archetype.
That's fair.
And I mean, it's fine. I don't think the raise is bad. Completely standard. If you're not raising here, you're just bad at poker.
You're not doing it right.
So nice raise, sir. I'm sure we get a call.
The under the gun limper makes the call.
And that's the thing. And from what I've heard about this club, I have a few buddies in this club, is people just don't fold pre-flop. You can make it huge sizings and they don't fold. So I think that increases the argument for upping the size here. So we're going 3-way to a flop. King 10-8, pretty good flop.
Good. Very much so draw heavy.
Why is the money in the pot not updated? That's weird.
That is weird.
So it goes check.
Yeah. We have 89 in the pot here when it checks to me. So 89 in the pot checks to me. I'm going to go just a little bit more than half here because it is a pretty draw-heavy board. Obviously there are some hands that are looking better than others, but Queen Jacks, Jack 10s, there's a lot of suited connectors and Broadway cards that hit here and that are just going to continue. So I think this is a very clear lead for half or a little more than half.
Yeah, 3-way, I definitely like a little more than half. I actually really like this sizing. I mean, the board should connect with their range fairly frequently.
Yes.
Opponents have a ton of 10s, and they could have some weaker kings. Obviously, you feel very good about your hand.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
happy to get calls.
I like the sizing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what happens.
I don't think anyone can be mad about it.
I feel like he's
gonna fold in a call.
All right, now the pot updated. Weird. All right, we got 181 in the pot.
Yeah, that is weird.
Turn. What the hell is the turn, bro? What?
The turn comes the 10 of hearts. I don't know why this is freaking out right now, but the turn comes the nice 10 of hearts. So pot's 181, and when he checks to me, I go ahead and lead out for $103. So we're going even a little bigger now. We obviously have top and the nut flush draw, so we're very happy when we get the check raised. Now we're in an interesting spot here. Check min raise on a king.
Did you just
10,
say you're
10.
happy when he check min raises? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I'm happy when you check min raises. Because
what?
here's the argument.
I disagree.
So here's what I said about this is that I think it's so unlikely that he's going to show up with King 10 here because there are so few combos that contain.
You're
that
worried
are King
about
10.
a 10 though. Like,
Right.
what do you think he's raising with? He either has like King Jack or some shit like that. Because he made it 8 King Queen.
I'm
like,
still live.
He could have King Queen.
He just gave me the best odds on planet Earth.
Oh, you're never folding ever.
Get away.
You're never folding ever. But saying you're happy about it, I'd be scared shitless. If I don't hit a heart, I assume I'm behind. I don't care how much of a fish he is. What is he raising? Do you think he's gonna raise?
Fair.
Is he raising 9 Jack on a King 10, 8 10? Like
he's raising a 10.
I don't think
he's
he is.
Raising a 10.
Because what are you betting flop, betting turn? Yeah. So when you say you're happy he raises, I disagree with.
Okay, that's fair.
You're never ever folding to a min raise with top 2 and the nut flush draw ever. I don't care ever. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have King 10 here often, but any 10, you're not in good shape. So
that's out.
I don't know what the hell is happening with this thing. Hopefully the river just decides to pop up. We get to see the river. I don't know where the turn is. I don't know. But all right, we've got the nut flush.
We have the nut flush.
Who jams? I know that money goes in.
He bets 127.
I don't know what the hell that bet is. Like,
right, so this is what I'm saying.
Does he think you're calling him with like any king? Like, and why would he not jam? Like,
why would he not jam? That's what I'm saying. Is like you immediately know a lot of things about this player when you start seeing the things that he does. And like in this spot, like what the heck is okay? I mean, like there's no way I'm not putting in the money here. I block everything.
You're jamming, especially against the fish.
Okay, enjoy my money.
Yeah, I think you told me about our buddy Noah who rivered top 2 against this particular opponent, got the money in, and raised for value, and the dude just had a random straight. So this is not a fun hand for him. I think it was yesterday Noah said he played like a $600 pot, ace deuce against like King Jack or something. But anyways, yeah, the money goes in. He's got a 10. I don't know what 10 he has. 10 Jack, Queen 10. I don't know. What does he have? Ace 10. Okay.
Yeah.
But
this is my third biggest pot ever. Look at that. And we won it. We didn't lose that one.
There you go. That's always a good feel. Is your biggest pot ever against me?
No. Biggest pot ever was at the MGM Springfield.
Oh, did you lose that pot we had three-handed where you won? That was a big pot.
I don't remember. Yes,
that was a big pot. That was over $1,000, 100%.
Straight over set on the flop. All the money went in. That was the second biggest pot I've ever played in my life. The biggest one was at the. I won all three.
We are going to our third hand. It is Ryan again, deciding to flex. Apparently, we only show hands where Ryan likes his lines.
Hey, I have made plenty of trash decisions and showed them on this podcast. All right,
not as many as I'm a bot, but
Yes, Evan's more than willing to share his mistakes with us. I think this is a really interesting hand. This is a really interesting hand, given the way the action goes down.
Right. Can you give us some background? I haven't looked at this hand, so I'm in the dark.
This is a different hand. This is the other hand. Yeah, this is like this weekend. So it's a nighttime session. We're much deeper into the session than we were before. So now we're a couple hours into the session, and we've been cold for a while.
Bro, why do you have Queen Deuce of Diamonds in this hand, bro?
I have not picked up a hand in a while. So U-Fish opens up under the gun to 8. Now please push play. We get a call from Tracy, and it folds to me on the button with Queen Deuce. Against the two softest players at the table, I see it fit here to flash the Queen Deuce.
Okay, I mean, four is really Ron, I guess.
Four's really Ron one time. I also was just like, I hadn't played a hand in a while, which is not a great excuse.
You got a good image. You can win with any two cards, I suppose.
Exactly. I do have a good image in this club.
What a flop for Queen Deuce of Diamonds, I guess. All right, let's see what happens. I'm very excited to see how this hand plays out. I have not. All right, check. I'm assuming you bet in position, or do you check it back?
I think I check here, actually. Yeah, I check. Because I'm just like,
that's fine.
Now I'm sitting here like, this is unbelievable. This is an ace high board, and the under the gun opener doesn't lead out. Like, what does he think I'm flatting with the button here?
Dude,
so the turn comes 6. nothing improves, nothing's happening, and it checks to me a second time, and now I opt to lead. I think I could have honestly gone a little smaller because all pairs are very inelastic here and are just going to call any sizing. There's not a lot of draws.
No, you're just wrong. It literally,
I mean,
so many gutters,
King,
open enders, King 10, 7, 9,
yeah,
9, 10.
If I go just under half, I think it's a little bit better than half. But that's
4, 5 of hearts. There's so many draws. If you go smaller here, I just think it looks so. If you bet $9 into this pot, I am raising you 100% of the time.
Yeah,
especially after you're calling. I don't care what my 2 cards are. If you bet smaller than this, I'm like 4xing you all day. I don't care what I have. Like, no, you can't go smaller.
That's fair.
You fish calls, Tracy folds. Queen, I'm assuming, on the river. Okay.
How did you know?
I don't know how else you would have won this hand. Oh, this is such a straightforward hand. Against the fish, bro, he never has an ace here. 54, snap. It's straightforward.
Snap.
You don't snap. Like, what?
No, I'm kidding.
What is this hand?
It wasn't a snap call.
What? Do you think he just happens to be betting a queen here that big? Sure, he could have a queen here sometimes that has you beat, but do you think he's potting it after you lead turn? Yeah, you shouldn't have a ton of aces that check the flop. But like, if he has queen 10, okay, king 10. Yeah, no.
10.
The things I have heard about this player, he raises turn with king 10 on this board. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me he doesn't raise a gut shot on this board. From what I've heard about this man.
I mean, maybe some of the time, but like, I don't think so. He does tend to do these things with some equity, but usually it would be something like an open ender. But that's what I'm saying. It's like when this occurred, I was just like, oh boy, like some percentage of the time. Obviously, I think that in the long term, this is a call, and especially against this player, this is a call. But yeah, to say that this is like this is maybe a snap against him, but to say this is a snap in every situation is probably.
Oh, I mean, totally 100% player dependent. If I lead this sizing, you can get away from it. I would lead with this sizing with king queen.
Yeah, with better
100%. But this player, no.
The only other thing, other than all the obvious bluffs that he could have, you didn't show his hand. He had 7-3 of hearts. He had
7-3. Oh wow, yeah. What is going on?
I mean, that's honestly, if you have 0 equity in the pot, how are you going to win it? You have to bet. But it was a really fishy line. That was the point of the hand. Makes it easier to blow.
One more hand for you. My heads up battle with I Hate Bombs. We have played, gosh, we've probably put in 10,000 hands, like 60 hours.
Winning?
I'm up about $300. And in 2-4, no one is up a buy-in. I was up a few grand, and he just owned my soul. I just ran like the other night. But it's a great battle. He's a great guy, good player, thinking player. And I've loved just talking to him and going, wow, what is happening? Okay. So I am about 2K effective. He's got about 1,000 in front of him. Session's going fairly well, I presume, from the stack sizes. I've got 4 or 5 of hearts. He makes a 16. I decide to call.
These are real. Yeah, you actually have $2,000 in front of you, not.
Yeah, this is money. I think that's fine. I don't think we need to discuss 4 or 5 of hearts. I mean, we're heads up.
Yeah.
4x is our standard sizing. Wait, what the hell is this hand? How do I win this hand? I check it over to him, I'm sure, 100% of the time. What does he do? He checks back. Okay. Turn is a 6, and we pick up an open ender. The flush gets there. I think I'd probably bet. Thinking through. I check? What? I'm a genius. I love my check there. I actually don't like. I don't know. Well,
that's the thing is, do you expect him to bet? Do you expect this player specifically to bet?
Yes, 100%. No, he always bets. He bets anything. He always bets 18 is why I did it. I'm thinking, I'm like, I picked up a decent amount of equity. Why am I checking? But literally any 2 cards here bets. I'm curious if I put in the check raise. I hope I do. I honestly don't remember this hand 100%. I think I put the check raise in because literally any single flush draw, I know this player, bets flop. Any single pair, any single straight draw, he doesn't have anything. He could have picked up a gutter here or something like that. Or maybe he has like Jack, Queen of Diamonds, Ace or King of Diamonds, even if he had one of those, I think he bets flop. So I'm sure I'd put in the raise. Let's see. I'd make it 62. What do you think of this sizing?
Okay, so he leads out for
18 and
18
32.
and 32. You raised to 62. I'm fine with the sizing. It's a little bit more than pot. I think it's standard for your game as well. I think it does in heads up. You kind of settle into a groove, and you can really. It can be very player dependent. Obviously, if I was playing against you, most of my sizings in heads up are a little bit smaller than this.
Like, he likes going 4x. I go smaller than he does, interestingly enough.
I mean, he goes, but you guys are also
big.
Mega deep.
Oh, 100%.
Mega.
Yeah, so which factors into it.
Raise sizes should be significantly larger at this stack depth.
He puts on the call. I like to see it.
156 in the middle, baby.
And I at this point, when he just flat calls turn, I don't expect him to be nutted here ever. No. Ever. No. Because he bets flop. He bets flop 100%. 100% of the time. So I hit the gin card for my hand. I hit the straight. I don't expect him. I just don't think he has a flush here, seemingly ever.
I don't think so either. Not as played.
Because I think a medium flush puts in more money on that turn. I think he can profitably it went check, bet, 3-bet. I think he can profitably 4-bet that turn with a medium flush with the intention to fold. If he has a hand, I mean, he shouldn't have a flush there ever. But if he has 3-5 of diamonds, I think he can 4-bet fold on the turn. Anyways, so I decide to bet. What do I decide to bet? 90 into 156. So here's my logic. I normally size up rivers. I would normally go here if I hit my hand to somewhere in the range of 135 to pot.
Right.
So when I bet this, I want him to think, oh, wow, my pair could be... I want him to call me hella light or I'm inducing him. One of the two.
That's interesting. I was about to ask, is the sizing in inducing?
100%. If I bet 135, I expect him to fold his 3s or 6s or something like that. Whereas if I go 90... Yeah. I genuinely think. Oh, also, it's important to note that there is an 8. I'm crushed. There's a 4 straight. I'm inducing with so many things beating me just because I know this player. I mean, could he have an 8 here? I mean, yeah, but I honestly what 8s does he have that raises pre-flop? That doesn't bet that flop. 6-8 bets, 7-8 bets, 9-8 bets, 10-8 back, jack. Every single 8 bets flop. Every single one.
All the draws. Every decent draw that had any nutted equity should have been in there to some degree.
He makes it 270. I'm honestly not really squirming in my seat. I'm not even.
You called after only 5 seconds. That's what I have here.
Oh, it says the timer?
Yes. 5 seconds.
So I don't go in the tank at all. I mean, I think about it for a few seconds, but I mean. Yeah. I bet with the intention to call a raise. If he'd ripped it in my face, I would have folded. But who the fuck is that sick? So yeah, I mean, I call after a few seconds, and he shows King 7. Decide to turn a 7 into a bluff.
That's a good read here too. I mean, I discussed this with you in text before this, where I was just this is such a great play because you just immediately knew when he checked that flop that when he tried to rep the flush on turn and river that it just wasn't that ain't it, chief. Had he bet flop, continued turn, continued river, this is
may have folded.
Right. And especially considering if he's in control of the pot.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing in the time banks. I don't snap him in 5 seconds to 270 bucks. I'm okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Passive flop play led to a pretty disastrous pot here for him. So
100%.
Interesting. I think that's just one mistake. I think he'd agree too. That not betting the flop and then going, calling the raise on the turn and then raising river was probably a mistake there.
Do you think if he didn't have the 7 of diamonds in his hand, he would have made this play? How important of a blocker do you think the 7 of diamonds is? Out of curiosity,
it's not the most important blocker in the world, but I think just containing a diamond in your hand is important if you're going to be doing that.
Yeah, because he continued the turn with a gut shot and the 7 of diamonds.
Yeah.
He could have been pretty screwed. If a diamond comes out, is he going to value bet me?
He had a gut shot straight flush draw on the turn, didn't he?
Yeah, he did have a gut shot straight flush draw. He needed 8 of diamonds. But, I mean, If the 8 of diamonds come, oh my god, like he's
super easily.
yeah. But I think it's fairly straightforward. But yeah, definitely love playing against him. He puts me in a lot of tough spots. I'm sure I'll have more. We've got another session planned for Saturday. I'm sure we'll have more for next week's podcast. We have a very, very special guest for you guys next week. It's a famous vlogger that I will not spoil the name, but make sure you tune in 7 p.m. Eastern next week. Thank you again to Cole for coming on. Very much liked your energy. Crazy how good you've gotten in literally a few months. I'm pretty sure there's only 2, maybe 3 two-time tournament winners in the club. And he's scoring for like $800 a pop. So good for him. Pretty good for a 21-year-old grinder. But
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, signing off. Hopefully our jingle next time is a little better set up. But we got the graphic going. It's gonna be great. Thanks again, Ryan, for a great podcast, and we will see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.